Hello and welcome to a merry Masters of Cinema Blu-ray update, like the days of old on my channel many years ago when I used to get nothing but Masters of Cinema Blu-rays for Christmas. Not as many as back in those days, but I got a few to show you in this video. These are my Blu-rays that I got for Christmas and a few things that I bought with Christmas money as well, and there's more of that to come as well. I'm going to split this into two parts, and this is officially my final video of 2019. Was it ever going to be anything more than a Blu-ray update video? Probably not. Before we get to the Christmas presents that I got, which, you know, all the Blu-rays, I obviously got all the usual Christmas presents we all get every year: socks, deodorant, the old classics, chocolate. I did get a gift from a fellow YouTuber for Christmas who has become a good friend of mine over the past couple of years. This year, 2019, we started our podcast together, The Blu-ray Condition. So Graham from Man v Film very kindly sent me something that is fairly sought after. I believe it's an out-of-print title that he had, and I was going to buy it from him. But he decided to give it to me as a Christmas present, which I hugely appreciate given the fact that he could probably sell this on for a fair bit of money. And did I mention that this is the last video I'm filming of the year, because it literally is 11:30 on the 31st of December 2019. Yeah, I really dragged my ass about making this video until the very last moments. But anyway, we're here now, and the Blu-ray itself is a beautiful box set. 3 films by Seijun Suzuki. The Taisho Trilogy. Taisho, I believe, yeah. So this is just a stunning box. I love the kind of traditional Japanese artwork that runs along the whole thing. Yeah, 3 movies there. Seijun Suzuki, I believe I've seen only one of his films before, and I've already forgotten the title of it. Was it a Yakuza movie? I'm not too sure. It might have been. I have to look into that. But these are period films, obviously. So these are set during the Taisho period, I'm assuming. And, you know, this is not like something I'm hugely knowledgeable about, but, you know, if you've seen my channel and have watched it for any, you know, substantial amount of time, you should know I'm pretty passionate about Asian cinema, no matter what, particularly Japanese cinema. So let's just have a look at the back here. We have Branded to Kill. There we go, right? Bing! Right out of the box. It gives me all the information I needed on the back of the damn Blu-ray. Branded to Kill. No, did I watch Branded to Kill, or was it something else? I can't remember if it was... Did I watch Branded to Kill, or did I watch another one of his Yakuza movies? There was one that I did in Asian Cinema Season 2017. It was one of his films, and I didn't like it very much. But, you know, it says that he kind of, you know, a maverick director, after more than a decade in the wilderness following his firing from Nikatsu for Branded to Kill in 1967, Suzuki returned with a vengeance with his critically praised triptych of cryptic supernatural dramas set during the liberal enlightenment of Japan's Taisho era from 1912 to 1926. There's there's a lot of information here, and I don't know too much about it, and I don't want to. It's one of those things I want to crack open and just dive into. And so we have, I can't even pronounce these. Yumeji is one, Kagero Za. The third one I can't even begin to... It looks like a German title to me. But, you know, you get 3 films, a nice booklet in there, quite a few special features. Tony Raines, of course, has filmed a new appreciation for this. So, yeah, this came out a couple of years ago, and I really wanted it, but it was too far on the edge of a blind buy for me. So, Graham, thank you so much. You know how much I love this stuff, and... you know, probably would appreciate it more than you, I'm assuming, given my intense love for Japanese cinema. So thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. And it'll definitely be treasured. And I can't wait for the day when I can feel like cracking it open and having a look at those films and seeing what they're all about and kind of going in a little bit blind, which I love to do with most films, really. And he also sent me this. This is a book of Star Wars scripts, which is very, very cool. Similar to a book I had in a old VHS deluxe edition. It has the scripts of the original trilogy and some poster artwork as well on the inside. Very, very cool. So thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate that Christmas gift, or gifts, I should say. And hope you had a great Christmas too. And definitely, guys, check out the Blu-ray Condition podcast. We're trying to do more regular episodes now. I think we've done about 5 or 6 since we launched the beginning of 2019. So, one more thing to talk about before we get to the actual Christmas presents. I picked this up recently from HMV, got a really good Black Friday 20% off on this, and it is the Robocop Arrow Video release. So I was umming and ahhing about this. Do I really want it? I've just noticed you have Robocop there, and then just behind him is kind of like the, if you can see that, if the camera will focus, you can see kind of the faded image of the actual guy. I forget the character's name. The guy who's Robocop. So yeah, Peter Weller. I really love that touch on the artwork. That's really, really cool. Beautiful piece. But yeah, this is, I mean, absolutely loaded to the gills with stuff. Yeah, really, really cool. And it's one of the, yeah, I was thinking, do I really need it? I have the trilogy release, but this is, this is Arrow Video. They've gone all in with like a 4K restoration and everything. They've really done, I think this comes with the director's cut. I'm not too sure about the differences. I mean, you can just look at the case artwork and then look there's the synopsis of the film, there's all the extras just on the first disc. So I mean, they've compiled pretty much everything and put together a whole hell of a lot of other things. And so this has the director's cut and the theatrical cut. I do love Robocop. I grew up with this movie. It has a poster inside, a nice thick booklet, incredible release. You've probably all seen it by now, but I wanted to throw it in there for good measure. So the Masters of Cinema stuff. Got a few things from family that I really appreciated, and it's been a while really since I've got a substantial amount of Masters of Cinema stuff, because I really kind of burned bright and fast on collecting those Masters of Cinema titles, because my goal was to get to 100 spines, and I managed to do that in a few years with the help of family. Christmas, birthdays, asking for Masters of Cinema releases, and I've kind of like let that fall by the wayside now, and they're coming up on 250 releases, I think, or at least 230. So they're rolling along. It definitely feels like the label has slowed down somewhat. It seems like Eureka are really following more in the line of just releasing any old film and just calling it a Eureka release or a Eureka Classics release. They're doing a lot of Hong Kong cinema now, which is really cool. But every now and again, they will throw one into the Masters of Cinema range, and this one is another film by King Hu, who has a number of films in the collection. They're over there on the shelf. So we have Dragon Inn, I believe, Touch of Zen, and Legend of the Holy Mountain. I think there's another one coming in February of 2020 as well. But this one is The Fate of Lee Khan. So I know absolutely jack shit about this one, but it has a very nice red slipcover. I love the color design on this one. Again, I'm turning into Blu-ray Dan a little bit. Love that artwork. And this one has not many special features, but it does have a new and exclusive commentary by Asian cinema expert Tony Raines. Of course it does. Love Tony Raines. So yeah, I don't know too much about this one. Again, just wanted to kind of just dive into it at some point, But this is the final film in King Hu's In Trilogy, and the follow-up to his highly acclaimed A Touch of Zen. So it goes with that film in some way, shape, or form. I'm assuming it's more of a spiritual kind of follow-up than a direct sequel. But it says this is an espionage thriller with a unique wuxia twist and shades of Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. That's all I need to know. So very, very happy to have that one. That is spine number 214 in the collection. The next one here is a film I actually saw a couple of months ago in the cinema. My local cinema was showing this, and I couldn't really pass up the chance to see a silent film in the cinema, and it was really, really good, and it is The Golem, or How He Came Into the World, I believe is the other title. Yes. So, oh no, not all, just The Golem, How He Came Into the World. So this is available on Blu-ray for the first time in the UK from a stunning 4K restoration. This is directed by Paul Wegener and Carl Bose. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce those two names, but this is, German silent cinema. There's that kind of expressionistic twist to it. I really love the visuals of this. There's some great stuff going on here. It's about this this golem that gets created, this kind of living statue. And the plot is quite thick, and that was the thing I wrestled with a little bit, was the ins and outs of the plot. It was a little bit muddied for me, but the actual kind of bare basics of man creating, something that he shouldn't have, and this kind of statue coming to life, and the havoc that he wreaks on the town, was really quite gripping to me. But I need to watch it again, and I will be doing something very special for this film at some point in 2020, so look out for that, because it's going to be something pretty different from me, and I'm really excited about it. But this is a really nice release. I love the artwork that they've commissioned for this. It's really, really cool. Nice slipcover. 3 options of scores. There's a video essay on the film. The US version of the film, fully restored. An audio essay, restoration comparison between the domestic and export negatives of the film. Of course, back in the day with silent films, they would actually film a lot of movies with 2 cameras. So they'd have the main camera and they'd have one just next to it. So they just filmed the same film from slightly different angles for every shot and would cut together a kind of a separate print to be exported around the world. So you get these kind of different versions at times when those prints have actually been saved. And that is spine number 213. This one is spine 208. And this is one of their super duper special editions. They're doing a lot more of these, which is kind of tricky because they're pricey and they go out of print really quickly. And this one I think is out of print now already. So I was very glad to get this for a Christmas present. This is from 1952, a film by Fred Zinnemann. High Noon. Really, really nice. Hard outer box. Very reminiscent of the first one they did, which was The Passion of Joan of Arc, spine number 50. So this is, I think it's from restoration. Yeah, 4K digital restoration. Boatloads of special features on this one. And a 100-page book as well. So they've really packed this one out. I've never seen this film before. And kind of westerns are certainly a bit of a blind spot for me. But you know, got Grace Kelly, you know, love Grace Kelly, and is it Gary Cooper? I think Gary Cooper's in this one. Yes, Gary Cooper stars in his Oscar-winning performance. So yeah, this is from the 25th Academy Awards, Best Actor in a Leading Role. So apparently it is one of the most important and gripping films from the 1950s. So very much look forward to checking that out one. I'll leave that in for free. Checking that one out at some point. And then finally, for the Masters of Cinema range, we have spine number 218. This is a film I was very much aware of, and I'm really looking forward to checking out because I love the 2 people who star in this. It is, did I mention spine number 218? Yes, The African Queen. Oh, gorgeous release. I love that kind of classic artwork that has been put onto this box. Really, really cool. I wish they put stuff on the back. It's just kind of completely bare, but that's kind of the way they sometimes do it. So this is a 4K restoration by ITV and Paramount Pictures. There's an audio commentary by cinematographer Jack Cardiff. That's really interesting. Did he do the cinematography for this film? He did. Oh, interesting. So we get cinematographer's commentary. You rarely see that. Comprehensive documentary about the making of the film. All sorts of things. Yeah, so really, really cool. New video interviews, audio stuff, the 1952 radio adaptation. I love those extras when they include them, and a 60-page book. But it is starring Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn, who are both incredible, and I can't wait to see them in a film together. And I've heard very good things about this from people who I know who've seen it, and yeah, not too much more to say about it, but very, very happy to have 4 new nice limited edition Masters of Cinema titles in my collection. And now there's just 2 more things. So this one I really, really wanted. I actually bought this just before Christmas. I really wanted this when it was a Kino release, but it was just so expensive, I just could never justify it. And then it came out in the UK, which was really surprising, because initially this project was... it was founded and created through Kickstarter crowdfunding, and they raised the money and made the box set, and it was really, really cool. So I'm assuming they then kind of sold that off to the BFI in the UK, which I'm fine with, because it gives me a chance to own this collection without kind of importing the expensive American release. And it is the pioneers of African American cinema, or just the pioneer. I wonder if it was going to be called the early pioneers, but it is just the pioneers of African American cinema. So this is almost primarily silent films. So it starts in 1915 and then goes up to the 30s. There's quite a number of films from the 30s. There is a couple of films from the 40s and one film from the 1970s. And then there's all sorts of special features as well. I mean, this is really just a comprehensive set in the terms of early African-American films. Just such a great kind of area that you wouldn't expect, you know, at least big studios to be investing in, and certainly they didn't, because it was a crowd-funded project. And you know, a lot of these films have been restored. That, you know, just I love releases like this, and it went down to like, I think, £18, which I think is just a steal, really. So I have only seen one of the films in this, which is Within Our Gates from 1920, which I want to watch again because I only saw it on like a public domain version. So on Blu-ray, I'd be really intrigued to see if I like that film more, because it was in the book 1,000 movies you must see before you die, and I didn't quite square off with it as much as I wanted to. It was a mixed bag for me. But yeah, definitely as a huge enthusiast of silent films, this is just a must-have for me. Any kind of like you know, on the kind of border, you know, not the kind of popular kind of main, like, you know, like Sunrise, or, you know, the German expressionist silent films, you know, all the kind of big heavy hitters, Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, you know, F.W. Murnau, and so on and so on. These are films that won't get talked about very much, so they're kind of, you know, more unknown and unseen for people in the, you know, in the kind of modern era. At least people like me, who, you know, I'm a huge silent film fan, but there's still so many things I'm unaware of and haven't seen. So this is just, yeah, a nice 2-disc. It's not even 2-disc, it's a 2-case set, but there's actually 5 discs. So 5 Blu-rays, 1,200 minutes, not including the extras. You know, yeah, just really, really great. You know, as a silent film enthusiast, that's just, yeah, awesome. And then finally, we have the last Blu-ray that I got for Christmas, which was from my mum. And this is like, oh, this is the one I want to hug. This is a really special Blu-ray to me, a really special film that I haven't seen yet. I might watch it tonight as we kind of ring in the new year. It is the final film by Agnes Varda. It is Varda by Agnes. Her final film that was released this year and has now been released on Blu-ray by the BFI. And I'm going to talk about this more. I'm going to do another episode, an installment of my Agnes Vardathon series, so you can kind of hear a lot of my thoughts about this in that video. But suffice it to say, I haven't seen this yet. It's her final film, a documentary looking back on her life, her creative life, which she kind of already did 10 years ago with Beaches of Agnes, which I got to see at the BFI last year with Agnes in attendance. So I got to actually see her in person, which was phenomenal. So I'm intrigued to see how this compares to Beaches of Agnes, if it's going to be very similar, cover the same ground. And I wonder, because I know that she was very ill, and she did unfortunately pass away this year at the age of 90 or 91. And I wonder if this was kind of her realizing that her days were numbered and she decided to make this final film. So I don't know if the film will answer that, if like her mortality will be addressed at all, but either way, one last film from one of the great filmmakers, such an inventive director and artist. I love Agnes so much, and there's still quite a few of her films I haven't seen yet, and I'm holding them off, you know, because it's just so exciting to me to get to see one of her films for the first time. And this release has the 83-minute talk that she gave at the BFI last year in London, which I missed. I found out about it the day afterwards, and I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh my god. I got to then go that day because I found out late that they were showing the film The Beaches of Agnes, and that she would be there to do a Q&A and stuff. So I got to go there and see the film and see her in person. But that talk that she gave about her life, and again her creative life, was like, that's kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing. But they filmed it and they put it on the damn Blu-ray, so that all 83 minutes of it is on this as a special feature. I'm so happy about that. I get to see what I missed, and I never thought I'd get a chance to see, because I was hoping maybe they'd put it up on the YouTube channel. Nothing happened, so I figured, well, they didn't film it. But they did, and they were holding it off for this release. Now, it could very well be that the talk she gives on the BFI thing that they've recorded and put on this Blu-ray covers a lot of the same ground as the movie itself. I don't know, but I'll take as much Agnes as I can. I love that woman, and it's very sad that she's gone, but she lived a hell of a full life, and I'm glad she made one more film before she passed on. So this is the one that I'm really, really treasuring this Christmas, and that is it. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Have a happy new year. Hope you all had a good Christmas and all of that, and I'll see you, as always, in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans and Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you.